everyone. My name is Iman, and this is Recovering Strong Black Woman, where we talk about everything from law of attraction to manifestation to vulnerability to ultimately living life on your own damn terms. And on today's episode, I'm going to share a few key books and reads for me that I highly suggest that you take with you into the new year or just any important transit within your life, whether it be breakup, makeup, transition in life, spiritual awakening, you name it. I think these books can really be beneficial and helpful for you. So hopefully you enjoy. The first one I'm going to start with is by Black Girl Bliss, and this is Pussy Prayers. Okay, so I'm gonna kick it off starting with a bang. I really enjoyed this book because I feel like when it comes to Black women and their sexuality and their sensuality, a lot of times we haven't been taught to embrace that. This book really just talks about getting in touch with your feminine essence, your sensuality, understanding your body, embracing it, removing the ego, and really discusses different way to tap into it. So I really love this. It's a great, easy read that you can kind of flip through. You can read straight through. They also have a couple of other books, but this one I think is a really good one, especially if you're coming out of a relationship or maybe you've been celibate and you just really want to remain connected to your feminine essence. It's really important that you figure out how to connect with that. And I think this book can be a great catalyst. And this you can find on Amazon, and with all the books that I share today, the link will be in the description. But I think this is a phenomenal book created by women of color for women of color, as it talks about our femininity, our sexuality, our sensuality, and really tapping into it and enjoying all those things, because they don't have to be bad, right? Like, it's okay to enjoy your pleasure. And when you become disconnected, it's important to figure out how you can kind of connect with that. So Pussy Prayers, number one on the book list. All right. The second book, I got this, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year, and my brother actually bought this for me, so shout out to my bro. And this is The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. Oh my goodness. I don't remember, actually I think my brother discovered this for me. And I think he was watching a podcast and said, this is some weird hippie shit that I think you would like. And he was right. And I really love this book. What this book really talks about is there are basically clusters of populations that live well over 105 and even longer, and you really get to see the sense about living a long and healthy life, and the trends that no matter where you are in the entire world, there are a lot of trends and things that kind of bind these people, that they're not just existing, that they are living. And I thought that was very beautiful. And it really kind of helped me to really understand about what I want my aging process to look like, how I want to experience that. And I think it was really eye-opening. It was like, oh, wow, like these people are living it out how I want to live it out. And I hadn't found a book up until that point that really talked about this and talked about the aging process and talked about some of those trends and some of those behaviors. And I think it's important because once you know better, you can do better, right? I think for me too, it was a beautiful eye-opening book, because in my situation, I grew up with, I only had one grandparent that I knew in the physical world, right? And that was my grandma Memo. And I am just learning what the aging process looks like. She is the first person that I have seen age in that sense. I have certainly had loss within my family, but I haven't experienced the aging process. So that was something that was very foreign to me. And I think this book just gave me a lot of understandings about my own emotions when it came to that, and also understanding that there's different ways of aging. And I think this really kind of also brings in some of those holistic approaches, some of those things that are in our DNA that maybe we have just kind of strayed away from. And when I just read it, it really kind of brought me home to a lot of these things that I felt like I already knew, but then I was able to really kind of connect the dots. So I think this is a beautiful book. If you're looking to live life differently, I think the lessons from this book can be easily applied. It's super easy read, highly suggested, great book. All right, so book number 3. African Goddess Initiation. Listen, y'all, let me tell you, I have always had this amazing kind of connection with just finding books that just align with me. And this is like no exception. I will tell you, I will put this intention out of like, hey, I feel like I need a work. I need to connect with something. Reading for me can be very therapeutic. It causes my mind to kind of slow down because I'm always go in my mind, right? So it causes me to kind of pause and kind of take a breath. And it has been very peaceful for me. And a lot of times if I'm kind of feeling like, hey, I feel a sense that I that there's something out there that I should be reading, I just don't know what it is, then I'll put that attention out there. And never fails, baby. I say that, I put that attention out there, I go to Amazon, boom, there's a book that doesn't make any sense why it popped up on my feed, and it just popped up. And this is one of those situations. When I saw this, I was like, oh baby, I need her. She needs to be with me for sure, because I felt like it was just gonna be amazing. And when it actually got delivered, oh baby, this is so beautiful. I have bought this book for, I think, at least like 7 people. I bought it for my mom, I bought it for my girlfriends, and it's so beautiful. What's amazing about this book is, number one, you hear a lot of people talk about goddesses and how it relates to African American women isn't often explored, right? We are often on the other side of the goddess conversation, or everyone's just telling you to be a goddess within your current state, but there's ancestral, connections with that goddess essence. And this kind of gives you some perspective on some of those ancestral roots, and then also how to connect. Now, baby, that's what I feel like separates this book. It talks about how to connect with your ancestors, with that goddess energy from various different goddesses. It really includes a broad array of different goddesses. It's super easy to read. How I love to leverage this book is I will sit down, I will flip it open. I'm like, universe, guide me to the information that I need to know. I flip it open, boom, here's a goddess. And you get to read their story. There's like an initiation. There's a way to kind of connect. So you get to really understand your roots of that goddess and the history behind her and that connection. And you really can kind of understand, resonate that, baby, they might be talking about goddess in the present form, but you have a long lineage of goddesses to embrace and to tap into. And I thought this book was so beautiful. Highly recommend you get this for yourself, especially if you're in a place of growth. I also highly recommend that you get this for like young women or women who are experiencing the same things, because this information here will really allow you to pause and tap in. It is so beautiful. Cannot recommend this book enough. So amazing. So book number 3 for you to check out. All right, and book number 4. Okay, this book is so good, I bought it twice. So I got the original version, I think probably about 6 years ago, and it is Extra Guides. This book is so amazing. So similar to the African Goddess Initiation, one of the things that I really enjoy about this book is that it goes through information, kind of how to connect with your spirit guides, but it also gives you practical ways to actually practice it, right? So it's not just information about the resources to kind of get connected. It's like, hey, here's the information. There's actually how you can do it. The new updated version, which looks like this, is the one that I really recommend. What I appreciate about the new version is some of it has been kind of scaled back. It's been updated. It's very clear to use. Y'all see, I've been marking this sucker up. It's all types of highlighted. Take a lot of good notes, but I really love this book. A part of coming into the new year or to a new season in your life is about really tapping in and understanding what is, coming for you, but also leveraging your guides, your intuition, and understanding that you're not going it alone, right? Because sometimes those leaps of faith, understanding what you should be focusing on, sometimes can feel lonely and daunting. Like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but I don't have a clue what. And I think this book is such a beautiful addition to that experience, because you really understand I have this wealth of connection around it. And I will tell you, baby, every time I read this book, there is a different type of connection that occurs because of it. It is so beautiful. And it really has been a benefit. I love all her books, but I think this one is a great place to start, especially if you're exploring your spirituality or that phase of your existence. And highly would recommend it. Like I said, I really would say go with this revised version. However, any one of them are good. And the other good thing about all these books that I mentioned, they're very affordable. And I believe all of them pretty much have a Audible version too. So say you're busy, say you don't have the flexibility to sit down and read every day. I get it, right? So sometimes my life is the same. You've got to prioritize what makes sense for you. But there's also Audible that's available. And let me tell y'all this little quirk, right? I'm about to get real personal. I don't know why, but I enjoy, especially if I really am into something, I like listening to the Audible and reading along at the same time. I don't know why. It just helps me to connect, and the information just sticks and it will not get out. So I like doing that, and this is one of the books that I've done that with, one of many, where I'm like, I read a couple pages, I'm like, this is amazing. So I will like drive and I'm listening to it, and I get back home and I'll watch it or read it, or I'm sitting and on my couch and I'm listening and reading at the same time, and it just hits me in a different way. I know it's very weird, but it's what works for me. So do what works for you, but don't be hating. So these are some books that I will highly recommend for you all. There are a bunch more books that I will suggest throughout the year, but I think these are great places to, once again, to begin that journey, to kind of jumpstart you, especially if you're in a place of transition. So please check them out. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More videos coming your way. And thank you for watching Recovering Strong Black Woman. And sisters, hats off and salutes to you on your journey. You are doing phenomenal. Keep at it, baby. You got this. See you guys later.